I'm standing at the foot of St Mary's Church steps, one of the oldest routes in Scarborough. These aren't just ordinary stones set into a hill, this is a paving that has shaped the life and history of the town for over 900 years. So let's start the climb up. And right here, halfway up, once stood a tiny stone chapel built right into that wall on my right. It was called Chapel of Our Lady on the Steps, small and plain, with a window facing out to sea. You can still see some of the stonework left there. For 400 years or more, sailors going to sea knelt to pray for safe return here. It's now gone, pulled down long ago in the 1700s, and only this piece of wall is left. And the church I've just been talking about, they found a wall here. They're doing a dig.
No, it depends on...
They found a lot of pottery and bits and pieces, but most interesting is the wall.
Okay, thank you. To that.
So that's, yeah, same wall then. Well, I didn't expect that bit of an archaeological dig. I'm now halfway up and looking back down through the gap. There it is, one of the finest views in the town. For generations, this was one of the main routes between the harbour and the church. Before the roads were built or cars existed, this was the route to take. And here I am at the top. I've just climbed over hundreds of years of history in just a few minutes. And this is the last flight of steps. This goes into the church itself, St Mary's. Standing here, you understand why this spot was chosen so long ago. High up, safe from the tides and storms, with brilliant views over the whole bay and along the coast towards Scarborough Castle. This was the heart of the medieval town, the church, the meeting place and the highest point of the old town. The church links both sides of Scarborough. South Bay that way to the right, and it's got the North Bay to the left. St Mary's Church is just not a building, but a living record of nearly 900 years of this town's life, faith and history. It sits just below the great castle headland, and for centuries these two landmarks have stood together. Fortress and church, power and prayer, watching over everything below. From the outside you see a building that has been shaped by time and struggle. Parts of the walls and the lower section of the tower go all the way back to 1150, built soon after the castle itself. Back then it was far larger, a great church with two towers, long aisles and a chancel, stretching far eastwards, one of the biggest churches in the whole region. The church was caught in the middle of a war. In 1645, during the English Civil War, parliamentary troops occupied it, using the tower and churchyard as a gun position to fire at the royalists holding the castle just 300 metres away. The castle fired back, and for weeks this place was battered by cannonballs. The central tower collapsed, the chancel was shattered, and half the building was reduced to ruins. Parts of which still stand as quiet remains at the eastern end today. What you see today is what was rebuilt afterwards, smaller, restored and added to right through the Victorian times. We'll make our way to Anne Bronte's grave. She's buried just over there. And here, looking straight out across the South Bay and the harbour, is the final resting place of Anne Bronte. The youngest of the famous Bronte sisters, she came here in 1849, hoping the fresh sea air would cure her health problems that was killing her. She loved Scarborough. She wrote about its beauty, its freedom, and how it made her feel alive again. But she grew weaker and died here aged only 29, far from her home in Haworth and her family. She has to be buried here, and so she lies alone, not with her sisters or brothers, but here by the sea she loved. If you look at the headstone, and it still bears the small mistake carved when it was first made. It says she was 28, not 29, and it's never been corrected. Her grave is not grand, but it is powerful. Standing here, you feel her presence and understand why she chose this place forever. Stand here for a moment, breathing in the quiet. This place is more than just a church or a graveyard. It is where the spiritual heart of Scarborough beats. This area has seen wars and peace, plague and prosperity, Viking settlers and Victorian tourists, writers and fishermen all passing through. From the first stone laid in the 1100s to Anne Bronte's burial, right down to today, every step here is a step through time. So, now leaving St Mary's Church, got to go down through the old town this way. Well, it's a long walk down there, but it leads back to the South Bay. Beautiful view. A lot of Victorian and Georgian houses down here. A lot of the fishermen used to live down here. A lot of the buildings on Princess Street are dated in the 1700s. So quite an old street. Well, I'll soon be back down there, dying for a cup of tea. And back to the bustle and noise of the South Bay. Cup of tea time. So let's step inside and have a look.